Okay. Well, that's been the end of this morning's session, our first Scottish Town Centres event. A great turnout and some very interesting questions. Some of the major things that have come out is the variability across the country and about the persistency of vacancy and how that ties into resilience. The other interesting thing is about this whole point about diversity in towns and how that is changing and whether that is a threat or an opportunity, and particularly in the cities, which are becoming less diverse. We also talked about the new index of booze, money, charity and gambling, and some people felt that charity shouldn't be necessarily part of that, but others felt it was quite indicative of certain features of the high street. But perhaps that's more about clustering rather than the general nature and role of charity shops. Ownership came out as a very big issue in terms of who owns this property, and Lee Sparks of Stirling University has done a study in Stirling and found it very difficult to get to the bottom of who actually owns these shops. If you can't address these ownership issues, you can't solve the problem. Finally, we sort of came on to pop-up shops, and we had a lady here from Shoe who talked about the importance of really testing an area before having to commit, and actually it's worked very well for them in a number of locations, but of course in other locations where they may have been committed to 15 years they haven't had to go at all because it didn't work out. I think in terms of future actions, it's very interesting that the data can be used more, as we've known for a while, and we're planning to do some more work with Stirling University on this in the Scottish arena. But I think the really interesting thing was from the whole audience about the lack of typology for towns, and I think we can really help here by creating a dynamic typology and seeing people move in and out, because I think one of the big questions that came out was about terminal towns, but are they terminal towns or are they towns in transition? And therefore a typology which changes and evolves will help with that. And then lastly, we talked about food and beverage and the importance of having a day and night time economy. And then the catch-all question from Jane Bradley from the Scotsman, which is a great one, which Lee answered very well, was would independence make this better or worse? There's no great answer to that, but we're aware of various business issues for multiple retailers where Scotland will be considered as a separate country and entity, and therefore it may be a barrier to entry or a speed of withdrawal because the cost of operating would be greater with an independent Scotland. But who knows, that's for the future. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to our next event in 2014.